Hello everyone and welcome to my channel or my podcast depending on where you are watching or hearing this. My name is Phoenix G.H.D. You can just call me Phoenix. And today we are going to be talking about the equipment on the Element Witch, what they use and how they use it to the extent that they do. And we are actually on the final 3 episodes of the podcast, and then there will be a bonus episode, possibly 2, depending on if there's any questions that came up, and I'll do a bonus episode of those questions, no matter how long it is or how short it is. And then there will be if there's any, and if not, there'll just be one bonus episode where it'll be the short story on the Element Witches or Warlocks. Actually this one is a witch, elemental witch, Willow, the spirit dragon, and the elemental witch in this world. So without further ado, let's hop right into this. So today we are going to deep dive on equipment and what exactly they use for equipment. So the first one is going to be wands. They do use wands, and there's different types of wands. It depends on the element that they use will decide on what kind of wand they have. So for example, if they use stone magic, then they have a stone wand. If it's wood, they use a wood wand. Water, the water wand. A little bit harder on the water wand, but they use the element that they have control of as their wand. Now, can someone else inherit that wand? No. Once that wand and the owner has perished, that one is completely obsolete, no longer exists, no longer works. It still exists to a certain degree like the object does, but the magic that it held no longer there. So the wand cannot be going to someone else if they lost in the battle, like the way I believe Harry Potter. I know I might be using Harry Potter quite a bit, but it's the only one I could think of on top of my head with a magic system. Or if someone lost, and then the winner gets that wand kind of thing. In this book, that is not the case. If something has happened to the owner or the owner loses the battle, no one inherits. The winner does not inherit the wand. In fact, the polar opposite happens. The wand stays with the owner because it's like a spiritual bond kind of thing, where the wand knows who the original owner, who the creator of that wand is. So it will literally perish with the owner, making that wand completely useless to a certain degree. And I will get to that later in the next episode where we talk about potions. Anyways, and the next equipment they use is I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, cauldron. So those bowls, I call them bowls. But anyways, they use those things, those cauldron bowls, to make like potions, mostly potions. There's different types of them now. Again, depending on the element, we'll decide what element they use. But for the most part, each element can use them. But the main ones would be like earth, water, and fire. And with a mix, like those type of covens, we'll use them. And there is brooms here, but they don't use them for flying. They use them to mix the ingredients in, or cleaning the equipment and stuff like that. They don't use them for transportation, but they get used for other stuff. So if they don't have a wand, they can use a broom to help focus their magic kind of thing. mix the ingredients in the cauldron, clean the ingredients because the broom absorbs the magic that's on the floor into it and put it into the broom, and then as they're mixing it in the cauldron, the magic goes back into that. So this way there is no waste of ingredients, magic, or whatnot. Sometimes you don't know what's on the floor and the broom absorbs it, you put it into the cauldron, and then you don't know what kind of potion you're going to get. That makes it fun and entertaining because you don't know what the results will be. And of course, they have special potion bottles to hold the potions because some of these potions need a special bottle to hold them in because they could accidentally explode if they're in with the wrong type of bottle material. Could melt the ingredient, melt the bottle. There are some potions with acid in it, yes. But I will get into that in the potion topic. And so forth. They do have every elemental witch does have a Book of Shadows. Now, the Book of Shadows can go to the descendants or whoever the winner is of that fight if the witch or the warlock has their Book of Shadows on them. If they do not, then the Book of Shadows goes to their partner or their child, and then that child has that Book of Shadows plus their own that they're gonna make at some point in time in their childhood or teenagehood, depending on when they start taking the magic seriously, and then create their own Book of Shadows to go into like the S rank and start going into the the Enchantress level. Start going into there kind of thing. That's when the Book of Shadows come in for the most part. Contracts, they do have contracts with each other and other people and other supernatural beings as well. How the contract works is whether you owe them one or they're doing you a favor and you owe them a favor, or if it's a life contract, which some of them do, which is a very dangerous contract to go into. It's just different types of contracts. So there's a life contract, there's a favor contract, there's a different types of payment contracts. You just gotta be careful and read the fine print on those different types of contracts. The next one and the final one for equipment is tarot cards. Now, tarot cards are mostly used on I believe anyone can technically use them, but the ones with the spirit elements like holy fire, hell fire, or spirit fire, or even the life and death ones, those are the ones that mostly use the tarot cards to tell you your fortune or how long you're gonna live or so forth on the tarot cards. What could possibly come in your short future, or if you're doing long-term future, they also let you know as well. They don't really give you a time frame on how long you're gonna live unless they're like really, really skilled in that area, then they will. But for the most part, they just use tarot cards to get an extra coin or an extra trade kind of thing in their world. So that's how they do that. And that's basically it. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys or hopefully hear from you later. Bye.